Welcome to Real Dad Bro Talk, where all the guys come to hang out. 100% real talk with Matt and company. Here we go.
All right. Welcome to Real Dad Bro Talk. You got Matt and Nick here for another epic episode of RDBT. So you were gone last week, man, but now you're back. Nick is back. I think you guys might have been scared that, because previously I used to do that stuff and be like, oh yeah, guest, and then you never came back. Well, this time, you're back, right? Back. You're back and ready to go?
I had date night the same exact time as podcast night. I'm a big Blue Jackets fan. Had some great seats to go. Kind of took a week off and went and watched the hockey game. Couldn't
pass it up, man. I don't blame you. If I would have got him, I would have done it. Even though I'm not. You know what? I haven't been following the Blue Jackets a lot this year. I kind of feel like I'm letting them down, but I feel like if I don't follow them, they won't let me down. Does that make sense?
So here's the thing: we're in the playoffs, and we're not watching.
Then
you start watching, you're going to mess it up. Watch. So just sit on the sidelines for this season, bud.
I'm not going to watch. I'll let them. They're going to ride or die without me this time. We'll just let that happen. I'm cool with it. So real quick, man, before we get into the what we're going to talk about, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Shock Top, the beer. You've had Shock Top, right?
Yep.
Okay. Shock Top's not too bad. It's the orange kind, the Belgian wheat kind, it's pretty good. I got a different kind called Sunset Orange that I'm drinking right now, and it reminds me of like I'm drinking some sort of like cleaner. Like I'm cleaning something. It tastes like complete ass.
That bad.
I'm really pissed that somebody made a flavor like this and then actually tasted it and said that people will buy this and drink it. You know what? The people that will buy it and drink it, they bought it because they thought it was going to taste good, and they'll never buy it again. So it's almost like I tricked you. You know what I mean? Because no one's ever going to be like, hey, Nick, I need you to do me a favor and go give me a 6-pack of the Shock Top Sunset Orange. Never freaking again. Just giving it, not a great shout out to Shock Top, but you guys blew it on this one. So, anyways.
So what you're saying is this episode is not brought to you by Shock Top.
It's not going to happen. No. It was, this is one of those ones that they paid you to say something. I think I would have to defer to not taking the money and just tell them this is a god-awful choice. That's what I would have to do.
At least I know not to get that kind.
Don't do it. So today we're going to be talking about the big thing we're going to talk about is the NFL free agent frenzy that is absolutely going crazy. There's still some decent names, I think, that are probably still out there too, looking for some new homes. But a lot of moves went down today and yesterday and just these last couple of days, so we'll talk about that one. You had the Selection Sunday. We can talk about that. And then one thing I want to talk to you a little about is there's always a big topic around like your children, right? Like playing sports, and if you would let them play a contact sport, and not so much like just things get physical in basketball, right? Or baseball, but we're talking like the real physical. Like, would you let your kids play like football, the main one, right? People talk about that one. So if we have some time, we're going to talk about that one as well. So let's just dive right into it, man. So the NFL free agent frenzy is it's taking over. Adam Schefter again is probably like the busiest man in the world right now, and has how many cell phones does he have? He can't just have one. There's no way.
I would guess at a minimum 3.
3? I was gonna say like 6. No joke. Because I bet you almost like all of these. There's so many people that are probably paying his bill around this time too. You know what I mean? To get them the first hand knowledge on all this stuff. So, Shefty, you're busy. I know it. We appreciate you getting all the info out, but so what is the crazy? Tell me some moves, man. I've been trying to keep track. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot to
It's impossible. I don't remember an off season that started this way in recent memory with how many big names are changing teams. There's very few of them that are staying put. We're both big Packer fans, so this one goes out to Packer Nation. So we made a couple of moves today. The big one I say is signing Jimmy Graham. And I'm real excited for this move as a Packer fan and wanting to see. We know what Jimmy Graham can do. We saw what he did when he was with Drew Brees in New Orleans. Went to Seattle. They couldn't quite figure out how to use him. So I'm real excited to see A-Rod get paired up with him. But on the other side, I was a little sad to see number 87 depart us today, Jordy Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and me and you texted about this earlier today. I think it was one of those where he is a good player. If he wants to keep playing, someone's going to put them on a team and he's going to be able to play. But I think last season when Rodgers got hurt and Hundley was in there, it kind of exposed him a little bit where Rodgers elevates everyone's play when he's in there. Mm-hmm. And Jordy Nelson might have been one of those where he really elevated his play. He was non-existent with Hundley behind center.
I agree, and I think that's just that's what it was. You honestly. So when A-Rod went down last year, and you had Hundley as a backup, he was backup for behind Rodgers for 3 years, right? So you're thinking that maybe there'd be. Obviously you can't just plug somebody in and they're Aaron Rodgers, but you thought maybe he could help us out, get us through some tough wins and things like that. I thought that he was going to have to perform for sure. What I didn't see happening is the receivers just die off, man. Like they had for Jordy Nelson, during that span, he had to have maybe a handful of catches. Had to. He didn't do, he disappeared. So that's why when we were talking about it today, it was like, yeah, I get, there's feelings there, there's attachment, but at the end of the day, he wasn't performing. When an injury like that happens, that's when you need to elevate your game even more. You know what I mean? And I think that just didn't happen last year. Devontae Adams was the only one I felt that really pulled through and took advantage of it and just really, really excelled. Cobb, I think, was boo-boo a little bit, and he didn't do that great. But yeah, I think the move makes sense because what are you really losing if you look at it, right? Like Jordy Nelson is he's 32 years old. Jimmy Graham's like 31. So the age really isn't a thing. But you're getting somebody who's a little bit more consistent, I feel, in Jimmy Graham. He's going to get you touchdowns. You already know that. He's freaking 6'7". You know what I mean? You can throw that ball to him in the corner anywhere, and he's going to outjump 95% of the people to get that ball. So Aaron Rodgers needs an athletic tight end like that, and he's really good when he gets those people down the seam. So I think that was a smart move. That was a good move by the new GM that we have. So I thought it was good. I thought it was a good move. I hope they're not done because they've addressed one need. But dear God, their defense was dookie all over the field. So I'm really hoping that there's somehow we can get some people.
It got even worse with the trade we made to kind of kick everything off for the Packers, where we sent Randall to the Browns for a backup quarterback with DeShone Kizer.
What do you think about that one?
So Kizer, I haven't watched a ton of tape on. The Browns didn't win a game last year. I wasn't trying to watch as many Brown games as I could. I probably watched a total of one quarter of them.
Hard to watch.
Hundley had his chance, I think, last year. Yeah. I think his time in Green Bay is over, unless Kizer comes in and lays an egg and Hundley can beat him out unless they get rid of him beforehand. But you had to do something there. Hundley had the opportunity last year to take a Packer team to the playoffs and show what he could do. He didn't do it. It's a business. You got to make a chance or make a change. I like Kizer. I don't think he's really that bad. I've seen some good throws from him. If he can get in there and get comfortable, who knows? When A-Rod decides to hang him up in 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, maybe he's the kid that takes the reins and does the same thing A-Rod did, sit behind someone for a few years and watch him. Yeah. I like the trade. I didn't like giving up Randall. I think he had a bad year last year, but I think he had a chance to come back in and have another year of experience under his belt. But
right.
Defense for the Packer Nation is something that needs upgraded ASAP.
Yeah, and I don't even know where to start really. On defense, we made some signs that kind of constrained us in some ways. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do on defense. But you're right. That's where a lot of the effort needs to definitely go to that side of the ball, because we got a new defensive coordinator, and it just needs to change for sure. You need to get Matthews. He's not the dominant player he used to be anymore, right? But it's a lot on someone's shoulders when they're asked to do that. It's just a lot to ask.
He needs someone to help take the attention off of him. Yeah. The attention's on him. He is a good player, but he can't beat the double teams and stuff like that.
So what would you do if the Packers brought in Sue? How would you feel about that?
As a person, he's a terrible person. As a football player,
I agree.
I would love to have him. He's going to draw the penalties. He's going to make some questionable calls. As a football player, if he could ever put his head on straight and knock off the stupid shit, he would be a hell of a football player, and he is a hell of a football player. Right. But I would open him with welcome arms. I don't think he'll come to us or not, but he just has to get his head on straight and just play football and knock off all that other shit.
Right. I agree with that. So you brought up a team that I think we've both been kind of like, wow, interesting. The Browns. They have not been quiet this offseason. This free agent frenzy has a lot to do with them. And if you look at it, on paper, of course, you can't say it's going to be really fantastic and all that stuff. But on paper, you're saying, damn, all right, Dorsey's in there, he's making moves, and you can already see something kind of forming already. Can you not see that? I mean, I felt like the moves that they made. I mean, think about it now. And let's just, if you have it, if Corey Coleman stays, it is what it is. But they're talking about bringing in TP, and TP did good while he was in Cleveland. He sucked ass in Washington last year. But if they bring in Terrell Pryor, he's 6'4"? He's 6'4", right? Then you have Josh Gordon, 6'3", and then you have the 5'11" Speedy Gonzalez. Well, he's not really speedy, but he's a good slot receiver, and Jarvis Landry. And then you draft Saquon Barkley, number 1. And then you have that tight end that they have high hopes for, who struggled last year, but the whole damn team did. So you can't say he sucked. Everybody on the team pretty much was just not doing well. But then you also have Duke Johnson, right, as the kind of change of pace guy, or just a different look, right? Their offense looks pretty damn good.
Look how fast they went from an 0-16 team to not soul was talking about to they're all over Facebook, all over social media, talk of the town. You make 3 or 4 different moves, and all of a sudden you're looking at a team and saying, hey, they might have a chance of competing. I think the biggest thing for them is they've added a couple pieces, plus they have those draft picks. And when you look at those draft picks, I think it's almost a foregone conclusion. Saquon Barkley is going number one overall to Cleveland.
Right.
So you got a stud running back.
We didn't talk about Tyrod.
Yeah, you got Tyrod, which I would love. I think he is a hell of a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think you put him in Cleveland with some good receivers, some good weapons. He's got the legs to scramble around.
I like the move.
I'm going to go on a reach and say they're going to win more games than last year.
The project. I mean, Lolly's. I would. You know what? If they don't win more than one, if they don't win one game, then they should literally just dismantle the entire program and just stop and just let all the other players go somewhere else. I would quit. They should quit. Because, I mean, they're projecting them there's a lot of people, again, face value, on paper, looking at things happening, the way that they're, looking at the way that the draft is kind of showing itself and everything else, that they could be 8-8 already.
Look at the other teams in their division. I mean, it's not like the other ones are making big moves.
No, they're not.
It don't take a whole lot to compete in that division, which is unusual to say for usually what's a pretty good division. But they've seriously got a chance to compete to try and get in the playoffs. And I think the biggest thing is I've lived in Ohio my entire life. I've always been a Packer fan, but the Browns have always been a number 2 for me. I don't mind watching them if you have an off week for the Packers. Or
sure.
I'll root for them whenever they're not playing us. But I think the biggest thing, it's nice to see. I don't know how many Browns fans I've seen that at least have a little bit of life going into the season and have a little bit of excitement to want to watch a team, especially after a year going 0-16. You go at 0-16, you start that next season, everyone's like, ooh, Let's go Browns. Woof, woof.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of excitement surrounding that team. So I think the biggest thing is it's brought some hope for the fans. And it'll be nice to see these new pieces, and at least they're doing something. They're trying something to compete and try and make that team better instead of just sitting back, draft Barkley, and say, Barkley, take us to a championship.
Right.
Team sucks, but take us to a championship.
Exactly. And then Barkley has less on his shoulders coming in there too. I think they do. I think they go that. I wouldn't honestly be. I mean, I don't know, man. There's some good talent. Maybe they let Buffalo come up to number 4 and let them pick the quarterback that they want, and then they go down and they get, let's just say a cornerback they need pretty badly or something like that, and then they still find another quarterback in the draft later on. Maybe there's somebody else. I don't know, but I'm with you, man. I think they're doing really good stuff here, and they're on the right path for sure. I think last year's draft, some iffy picks, Jarrell Peppers is out there, so there's some things that last year probably they kind of goofed out that could help them up on the defensive side, but you can say that with a lot of teams. So I think they're doing well. I think they made the right decision in bringing in Dorsey for sure to start running that stuff. So what about, let's see, Richard Sherman? That was a big move.
He was one I was just waiting and hoping I was going to see Richard Sherman signs with the Packers. How big a pickup was that?
Oh, man, I was so bummed when I found out the Niners, dude. I was.
He's another one where I'm not a fan of him personally, just because I hate playing the Seahawks. They typically beat us as Packer fans, but I would have loved to see him come to Green Bay. But that was a big pickup for San Francisco, and I was kind of surprised how fast he made his decision. It didn't seem like he met very many teams before he got to San Francisco and said, "Hey, I'm home. Let's go."
I know. Now, I was thinking that he was going to take his time too, and I thought the Packers had a chance because he wanted to go to a place that could contend. So I thought, Packers are always in contention, I feel like, and the 49ers are getting better, I guess. I mean, they won out with Garoppolo at the end, but he even said that one of the key decisions that he made to go to the Niners was because of Garoppolo, which shows a lot, I guess, for someone like that. But I was surprised. It's a huge rival, obviously, when it comes to the division. And to go to San Fran is, obviously he's going to go back to Seattle, and it's going to be terrible for him. It won't be a good experience. They're not going to welcome him back, so it'll be interesting.
My guess is that had a little bit of play in his decision. I don't think he wanted to leave Seattle, and he had a tweet, something about fans hating on him, and he said maybe they should turn their attention to the organization that didn't want to keep him. So I think that may have had a little bit of play in it. He wants to get back in there and play against them and beat them. So that'll be interesting when they do have that first game back.
No, that makes sense. That'll be a cool. I'll like you said, I'm not a fan of either one, but I'd watch that game just because of that whole reason. I'd watch that game. So who else is making some big moves, man? I mean, the Browns, Bears did some stuff.
The Bears picked up Allen Robinson.
That was a good pickup
for
them.
Receiver, and I thought that was. I think they're probably a few pieces away from competing, but I don't think they're far away. I think the big one that has made me scratch my head this entire offseason was Minnesota. They made it as far as they did last year. They have basically what I would consider probably 3 starting quarterbacks on their team with Case Keenum. Well, they did. Case Keenum, Sam Bradford, and Teddy Bridgewater.
Yep.
And the entire offseason, you're hearing about them trying to sign Kirk Cousins and wanting to look at them. So I've been scratching my head at that whole time, and it was almost like dominoes. You had Case Keenum going to Denver, Sam Bradford going to Arizona, and now Kirk Cousins is signing a contract to come play in Minnesota.
Right, and that's what I was blown away that how much more money is Kirk Cousins getting than Case Keenum too? It's got to be substantially more, right? Am I wrong?
The exact numbers I don't know off the top of my head, but I
don't know either, man. But
as a player, I got to imagine. Well, how do you feel if you're Case Keenum? You took a team that no one had any aspirations for, that no one thought were really going to do much of anything this year. Mm-hmm. You take him as far as they did, and basically at the end of the season, they said, all right, go find another team. We're interested in somebody else.
Yeah, and he did good. Like
That blew me away from the entire offseason when they're talking about wanting a new quarterback. When you have 3 quarterbacks here that are probably all going to be starting quarterbacks at some point in their career, and some of them have, or every single one of them has. That was one of those things was a head scratch with me. I know they really wanted Kirk Cousins. He's a good quarterback. I'm on the train where I'm not personally sold on the guy. I don't think he's really proven anything yet. I don't think he's good enough that you take your 3 quarterbacks and say, kick the road, go find somewhere else. We're signing this kid.
Right.
It's been a head scratcher for me for the past couple months ever since you started hearing about them wanting to get a new quarterback in Minnesota.
I was the same way, and when it all went down to, I mean, if you look at last year's regular season numbers, do you know who the number 2 quarterback was in total QBR?
Tell me.
Case Keenum. Do you know who number 15 was?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. See? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense, and you're going to pay so much more for Kirk Cousins. So legitimately, could you look and say that if Minnesota had Kirk Cousins, they're in the Super Bowl?
Absolutely not.
That's what I don't understand either. Like, I feel like Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins are like damn near identical. But if you look at the numbers, Case Keenum's actually a little bit better. So I'm in the same boat as you. When I even saw that first come out, like Kirk Cousins to Minnesota, I was like, wait, why the hell is he going to Minnesota? Why won't they just try to keep Case Keenum, who damn near got him to the Super Bowl already? You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So I'm totally on board with you. I'm just not understanding that whole the whole move. Now, I think Case Keenum's going to. Do you think he's going to do pretty good in Denver?
They're a team, and we've talked about this in a previous podcast, that I've thought were about one player away from being back to competing in their division. Mm-hmm. Keenum's a hell of a quarterback. I thought he did well enough last year to earn that contract. Minnesota obviously thought different. I think he's going to go there and have a hell of a rest of his career. They've got a good team in Denver. Yeah. He's a good quarterback. They've already got receivers. They got a running game, decent defense. For Denver, I love that signing. I thought it was a hell of a
It makes sense. I thought Denver was either going to get Kirk Cousins or I really wasn't sure. I didn't know Case Keenum. I wasn't thinking that, honestly. But you just see all of these. It's just going to be weird next year or this year watching these teams playing with the same quarterbacks we saw, but on different teams. Alex Smith for Washington, Sam Bradford for Arizona. It's just going to be awkward and just it'll be interesting. I hope they all do well, just because it'd be kind of cool to see everyone kind of move around and still find success. It's always kind of neat to see that stuff. So, now the one thing that I want to pick your brain from is Kansas City made that move, right? They shipped out Alex Smith. So now you're saying all of your eggs are with Patrick Mahomes, right? Now it will be the second year. So apparently he's excelled in every way possible to the point where Alex Smith is really damn good too. So now he's out. Patrick Mahomes is in. They make a pretty impactful signing. Was it today or yesterday? Was Sammy Watkins. Because now if you look at their offense, you got Mahomes, you have Kareem Hunt, now you have Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, and Travis Kelce. That's a pretty strong offense too, man.
That is, especially if Watkins can get back to that stud number one wide receiver that I think he
won't even have to be a number one really with Hill. Maybe they both can just feed off of each other's. I don't know, but that to me is that division is going to be tough between Denver and Kansas City. I think that's just going to be brutal. And then you got John Gruden back in the mix with Oakland. I don't know, man. That's going to be fun to watch, that division.
I don't remember this many big name players changing teams in recent history. I mean, it's every other minute it seems like we're coming out with another player that's getting signed or released or changing teams. I mean, it's just nuts. I haven't seen this many moves. And you were talking about Kansas City. Alex Smith, say you're Alex Smith, right? This dude's had a good career, but his entire career he's been second guessed. Imagine how they got off to a hot start last year and trailed off towards the end. Mm-hmm. But put your mind in his for a second. The whole time you're hearing no matter what you do, kid, we're getting rid of you and we're bringing in your backup next year.
The whole time.
How do you play like that? How do you play knowing the entire time, basically, no matter what you do, unless you go out and win us a championship, you're gone? Who can compete in that kind of atmosphere?
I don't know, but he found a way to do it, and I felt he performed pretty well. You know, maybe there's Kansas City fans that are saying otherwise, and I'm just missing it. But I thought he did. I thought he did pretty good. I don't know, so maybe I'm missing that one too. But there's a lot of teams, and it is kind of neat though too to see these free agent signings, and it's not going to like the teams that you already feel are really, really good. So it's not like the Patriots are making crazy moves, or you're not seeing. I mean, the Eagles are doing a little bit of signing here and there. They're releasing some players. You know, a lot of these teams that are making some waves are that middle tier on the cusp of really making a big splash, and now we're seeing that happen. I mean, the Bears were dookie last year. Remember that? I mean, they just sucked. And now you have Cameron Meredith, right? He's a pretty good receiver. Kenny White, he's just always been hurt, so you never even know what he's going to do. You sign Allen Robinson, and now you sign Taylor Gabriel, and then you also sign Trey Burton, the tight end from the Eagles. Now shit. now you need the Packers to get defense, because holy shit, that is a crazy. That's if they can find a way to gel and Trubisky takes the next step. I mean, damn. And you got what's the Jordan Howard, running back. I mean, we're rattling off these teams with these just crazy offensive just skill players. And it'll be crazy to watch this year for sure. It'll be fun and exciting. I bet you Chicago is going to give you every bit run for your money. That division, Chicago, Green Bay, and Minnesota, that'll be interesting. I'm not even going to count Detroit. Detroit just sucks. I'm never worried about Detroit. Are you?
They're a team that always looks good on paper. Then they go out and they can never quite close or seal the deal with winning enough games to get in. So I'm never really worried about them. But it's one of those things when I look at the NFL and you kind of compare it, take it to the NBA. The NBA, you could damn near guarantee who the Final Four teams are going to be.
Right.
The NFL, the biggest thing I like about them is there's so many teams that can go on and get in the playoffs and make a run in the playoffs that I couldn't pick right now who the Final Four teams are going to be next year. That's what I like. You got that parity in the league, and I love that part. And
I agree, man.
Muhammad Wilkerson.
Oh, that could be a good pickup for the Packers.
Breaking news.
Did he sign somewhere?
Is now a Packer.
Shut up.
That is a big pickup.
You're lying. Are you lying?
As of 5 minutes ago.
What app do you use? Tell everybody what app you're using.
So, personally, I'm a big fantasy football player, playing usually about 3 or 4 different leagues a year. Roto World is what I use. It has all the damn near every player that's making moves, making changes. It's got them all on there. That's what I follow a lot on. And as of 5 minutes ago, Wilkerson is in the green and gold.
Oh, man, that's a big pickup. Oh, my gosh. We were just talking about it's fun. It's so funny. We're sitting here talking about that.
Every other minute, man, there's something else going on. It's so many big names changing teams this year. It's insane. I love it.
I'm pretty sure what's the new GM for the Packers? What's his name? I can't remember his name. We'll just say new GM. New GM from the Packers. He's probably got this. Somehow he has this tapped. So you're welcome. We want some cut from that too. By the way, we can be the agents for Wilkerson for a little bit. We called that.
I like it. I can't pronounce the dude's last name, but I just call him Brian G.
Brian G. BG. Let's call him BG.
I like that he's changing it up. It's not the same routine it's been in Green Bay for a long time of draft players and make them work. He's actually willing to go out and make some moves. And he already has. But that's a big pickup for us. I like it.
I agree. I mean, we needed somebody to come in there that would do these types of things. We have to. I mean, you just have to do these types of things to be competitive. You can't always. A rookie's not going to always come in and make an impact. Not all. I mean, you saw we had a good draft last year. King, right? He was well touted. Struggle right? It's a different beast from college to the NFL. The speed is different. You have to take time to adjust to that stuff. So you need strong people in there before you roll into somebody like that's a rookie that you rely on so heavily. You know what I mean?
I think those teams that are great for a long period of time have that nice balance. Have the veterans that can help the new guys out, and then have that next group of players ready to step in when called upon.
Right.
I think he understands that. I know we've talked a lot about the Packers on this podcast today, but we're both Packer fans, so you're gonna have to take it. But as a Packer fan, I like it. I like the moves. Put that nice balance in there. You got your veterans, you got your new studs in there. Make them gel together. They can pass on their knowledge, and you're good for years to go.
I agree with that, man. I agree. So we'll keep track of this as we go, for sure. We'll check on you'll use your app, right? And let us all know, no matter what's going on. Just tell us what's going on with the free agents if something does pop up. So let's just do a quick little spin-off of the NFL, right? So there's controversy around the NFL. Okay, controversy is player safety during, while you're playing football. After you play football is also a major concern, right? Because of the physical contact that happens. It's just the nature of the game. It's the way the game has been designed. It's the way it's played. It's physical. It's intense. It's aggressive. It's anything and everything you can think of as it's football. It's a physical sport, right? So I wanted to ask you this question, and I'll answer it too. You love watching the sport. I love watching football. Like, Saturday college football is fantastic. NFL Sunday, everything about the sport is just so intriguing to me. I don't care if I know Roger Goodell runs it. He's a douche. But at the end of the day, I literally just do it to watch I want to watch the players. I want to watch my team. And fantasy football has brought us into this world of not just giving a shit about the Green Bay Packers, but everybody, because you want to see how your player is doing on the Chiefs. You know what I mean? It kind of gets you involved with the entire NFL as a whole. So let me ask you this. Your son is old enough to make a decision, right? That he wants to play football. Let's say things have changed, it progresses. Let's say the new rule is you can't have full physical contact, pads, helmets, football until you're 14 years old. Let's just make that. I'm in my mind. I'm making that a rule. Okay? And he's interested, blah, blah, blah. You're the parent. He wants to play. He watches dad watch football all the time and just be so passionate about it and so into it. What are you going to tell him if he asks you to play football? If you can.
So first of all, I have a daughter. Are you pressuring me here right now?
No, this is
to our family.
I mean, you probably should, because you're not just the way things work, right? You can't have Aubrey be by herself. But for this question's sake,
we'll say I have a son, and we'll go hypothetical with it.
Hypothetical. Absolutely.
If I have a son, I 100%. If he comes to me, says, "Dad, I want to sign up and play Pee Wee football," I'm saying, "Son, go ahead and do it." I don't want to limit my daughter or hypothetical son and hold them back from whatever they want to do in life. If they want to play football, they can play football. It's one of those, in the last few years, they've been making a lot of changes. And I think in the younger leagues, it's called like Heads Up program or something like that, where they're teaching them how to do correct tackling techniques, to where instead of having their head straight down and going into them and possibly injure their spine, or the CTE is such a big thing right now, where you're seeing a lot of these players that played football all their life, when they retire, they're suffering for some pretty crazy things later on in life. I think it's one of those where the NFL, college, and the lower leagues are taking that into consideration and trying to teach better techniques, trying to take some of those big hits away. And personally, as a parent, like I said, I don't want to hold my kids back from anything. If they want to play a sport, I'm all for it. Go play.
See, I think my decision isn't based off of fear of injury that way, right? the way that I view this as is let's say, both my sons, right? Let's say they both come up to me, and I know my youngest is like diehard football too, like Buckeyes through and through, Packers, that's what he loves. All day, every day, he's got some sort of football, thrown in the air, running. It's just what he does. He's nonstop with the sports. But in my mind, if he comes to me and says, "Hey, Dad, I really want to play football. Will you let me play football?" See, in my mind, I'm looking at it as, bro, you're really good at baseball, right? Super good at baseball. Why don't we focus there? Because the longevity of a baseball player is there. You have more, I feel like, opportunities in different positions, I think, in baseball, and better chances. Not saying it's easier in either one, but I think baseball, just overall, there's more for that person, right? So I would try to steer him. I know that maybe sounds bad, but if he's good at baseball, I'm going to steer him that way, and that's just kind of the way I feel like it. And maybe at the tail end of it, you also feel that when it comes to baseball, you're not going to get, you're not going to get the head injuries as much. It's not going to be as thought as you do football. In football, you got to have a different mentality too. Like, you just have to have a different mentality. And I guess I'm torn though, but I don't know, man. I might have to tell him to see if.
Here's what I would say, and I'm fighting for your boys here.
Yeah.
How many of these players do you see that are 2-star athletes? They are two different sports where they're being recruited in, getting to play multiple sports at the same time. One, you're keeping your conditioning up all throughout the year. Football and baseball, if you use those two as an example, you can play in both and be just fine. You're playing baseball, you're running a lot, you're keeping your conditioning up. You're going for football camp, you're lifting weights. During the season, you're running a lot, you're playing, you're keeping your conditioning up with that. Then you have two opportunities where when it comes senior year, say you've played football and baseball for the last 6-7 years, both of them. Now you got two different opportunities where now you can be recruited in football, be recruited in baseball. Both of them are great sports. I played 1 year of football. I played baseball throughout my whole life. I personally focused on baseball. I played 3 seasons a year. You went from school ball to travel ball to a fall league where it was just kind of have some fun and relax a little bit. And then as soon as that was over, now you're back into conditioning for the school year. So that's the route I took personally. But it's one of those, I don't know how many players you've seen that there ain't nothing wrong with it, but you're limiting yourself to one sport. If you can compete in both, now you have two different opportunities. Or when it comes signing day, you got two different routes. If you're good enough, that you can decide then of where you want to go play, what sport you want to play.
I hear you, and then my boys may call you when that comes up, and you'll have to convince me to see if that's the
I'm
maybe
on their
things
side
change
for this one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm torn because and you look at it too, and when you're looking at that stuff, it's so easy. But I guess it's anything you do. I was a 3-sport person, right? If you consider golf a sport, some people don't. I get, and if you do, if that's you, F off. It's a sport. Anyways, so you have golf, baseball, and basketball. And I just played basketball. I'm 5'0", so it's not like I'm tearing up the court, right? People could say what they want, but anyways, I was doing basketball just to stay in shape for baseball. That was my main objective, like you said, right? Kind of going out there, doing different things, social, being part of that type of a group when it comes to a team environment. And I did basketball legitimately to stay in shape. That was my goal. Stay in shape, occasionally play like a minute or two a game, and whatever. Until the one time, my senior year, I was actually playing good. Don't ask me how. I was just like nailing threes. It was just one of those weird video game moments. And I stole a ball and went down the court and went to jump stop and pump fake. And as soon as I did that, just popped and tore my ACL. You know what I mean? So, and the way I look at it is like, damn it, if I wouldn't have been playing basketball and if I would have been solely focused on baseball like I should have, then maybe things would be different for that type of a thing. So maybe that's me being attaching too much personal stuff to the boys. You know what I mean?
Here's a question for that. If you hadn't played basketball, what would your conditioning level have been like compared to just trying to train on your own as a high school athlete?
Well, yeah, see, that's where I'm kind of
conditioning up for baseball.
Right. Dad, if you're listening, why the hell didn't you have me do more of the baseball stuff? You know what I mean? I didn't even know that shit existed, honestly. So if I would have known there was like a travel program or just some sort of other avenue to play some sort of baseball, I would have done it. I wouldn't have played basketball. I just felt like that was kind of the way it was. And my high school was, you know, you do this, you do this, you do this, and that was kind of the way it is. You know, most people that didn't do 3 sports was like, what's wrong with this guy? You know what I mean? You almost felt kind of like you were the outcast. But if I would have known of a way to kind of just do baseball the entire year, I would have done that. But
there's 2 different ways to look at it.
Yeah, you look at it both ways.
And everyone's got their own opinion on when it comes to football, if they want their kids to play or not. But
agreed.
It's one of those things, like I said,
It's
personally
touchy.
as a parent, my kid wants to play it, I'm going to let him play it. And at least from the football side of things, on all 3 levels, they are looking at ways to make the game safer. It is a violent sport. It's football.
Yeah, it's
You're going to get hit. You're going to hit people. There's
Yeah.
times you're going to get injured, but you can do that with any sport. You look at golf. There is 0 contact in golf. How many times do you see players get hurt in that? Hurting their back, tearing this, tearing that, stretching this. Whatever sport, it comes with the territory. When you want to compete in a sport and you want to try and reach that next level, you're going to push yourself. You take the risk of hurting yourself, hurting your body. It's just it comes with the territory with any sport.
I agree with that. So there's always going to be that factor of, and you'll probably always have that what if moment, unless you made it, and then you're like, oh man, I'm glad I did that, right? You know what I mean? So it's just always going to be that type of. I get it. Nope, 100% get it. So real quick, man. So we talked about anything happened in the NFL free agents. Anything else crazy already happened? Did we miss it?
I haven't seen anything in the last few minutes.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then. So, NCAA Tournament. Tons of stuff going on there. We're going to have to dive into this one, I feel like, next week. So, should we tease it or what? Now, so, if anybody's listening, I think we're going to do a contest. I know it's last minute. You probably only have a day to enter it. But I think we should do it anyways, Nick. What do you think? Well, I mean, if they don't do it, no one does it. It doesn't hurt nothing, right? But we wanted to put a contest out there. We wanted to do our own bracket for our listeners and give the opportunity to fill out the bracket. Everyone's filling out brackets, so even if you don't know shit about the NCAA Basketball Tournament, people are filling it out, getting lucky and winning. It's just how it is. So if you want to fill it out, what we're going to do, the winners, so whoever wins it, you're going to be able to pick an item off of brodadshop.com for free, and we'll give it to you. No matter, I don't care what it is. It could be a hoodie. It could be that badass fleece blanket, you know, whatever the hell you want. I don't care. It could be whatever. So you good with that? You good with the contest?
I'm ready.
Are you going to make it happen? Are you going to make it happen?
We will make it happen.
Okay. So Nick's going to put the bracket together. What's the name of it going to be? I guess we'll post it. We'll put it on Instagram. That way, and Twitter and Facebook, so you can get on there, enter your bracket, and get a chance to win some merch. So, and we'll announce that. So we'll get that out probably, early tomorrow morning, you think? Get that out to people?
We'll try and get it out tonight. As soon as we're done, we'll try and get that set up and going.
There you go. There you have it. I say tomorrow. He says that's too long. We do it tonight. And I listen. So we'll do that. So the Blue Jackets are on fire, huh?
They're starting. 5-game win streak. I'm a big hockey fan. There's the best live sporting event I've ever been to, and I've been to a few pretty big games, is a Blue Jackets home playoff game. I have never heard anything as loud as Nationwide Arena can get when the Blue Jackets are in the playoffs. So I'm pumped for it. I think most teams are around 15, 16 games left, so we're coming down to the stretch. I'm excited for it. As a Blue Jacket fan, we're currently in the playoffs as the number 1 wild card seed. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for that playoff atmosphere and getting back to the playoffs.
So you think they're getting there?
I do think we're getting there. And I do think I'm going to go on a limb on this one. I think the Blue Jackets, for the first time in their organization history, are going to make it past the first round.
Ooh. That's a bold statement, man.
And that's a little bit of me just praying and hoping that they do.
I'm going to let you have that one. I will. I'm going to let you have it. And like I said, I'm not even going to mess with it. I'll let you continue to update the audience on the Blue Jackets and where they are, so I don't, kind of come in there and mess up their mojo. Fair?
5-game win streak. You better not turn on the
I haven't. You know what? I've kind of actually stayed completely away from it. I've just been asking people how they're doing. Because before I'd be engaged and watch it for a second and then check up on them, and it's just nothing but frustrated the shit out of me. So I just completely disengaged from it, and now they're on a 5-game win streak. And I think that just means that's me. That's just me. I think I was bad luck.
I agree 100%.
So I can't mess it up now. You ever seen that commercial for what was that, back in the day, the Budweiser commercial? When the guy goes downstairs to get the beers, and because he went downstairs, his team scores a touchdown, so he comes back upstairs, hands in the beers, and then just goes right back downstairs because he didn't want to mess up anything. That's how I feel.
Hey, I'm one of those where if I'm watching, we'll say NFL, for example, I got multiple Packer jerseys. If I start the game with one, we're not doing good, I change that damn jersey. I have a cheese head. If I'm wearing that or if I'm not wearing it, I do the opposite. There's so many different things where I feel like I have a hand in how they're doing. I will change what I'm wearing, what hat I'm wearing. If I'm wearing my Packer necklace I've got, I will change everything to try and help the team.
I do this. I'm right there. That's so weird. Isn't it so weird how you think it's something that you're doing? Because that's how I am. I wear a T-shirt or a hat, and I'll be like, all right, this. And it's usually I start off with the same thing. I usually try to start off with the same outfit. But then as things start sucking or not going my way, then the attire starts changing. The hat comes off, a different hat comes on. Oh, that's not working. All right, the jersey comes off, T-shirt comes on. Oh, these shoes aren't working. I'm changing my shoes. I'm the same way. That's so crazy how you think like just those little things. And as soon as something works, you leave it alone. You don't mess with it. You keep drinking the same drink, eating the same food. It's so funny how we as fans think that we're actually impacting the play based off of our superstitions.
We absolutely 100% are.
You know what we didn't talk about today? And I apologize to everybody. Now that I'm sitting back here thinking about how sports heavy we are, shame on us for not bringing up T. Woods and his little almost bringing back to the number one spot in a tournament. How do we not talk about that?
As a quick little excerpt in there about that, he is who I grew up watching. I've got Tiger Woods hat that is old, that is dirty, that I don't even want to put on because it smells so bad. I love seeing that he is back, and even better than just being back, he's competing again. Yeah. Came in second last week, had a putt, long putt, but a chance to tie it up to go into extra holes. I love 100% that he is back. The viewers love. This was like the number one viewed tournament, and I don't even know how long. And I can't wait to see. He's playing again this weekend.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him in the Masters. The Masters, as a golf fan, is my favorite tournament of the year.
I agree.
I'm hoping he got a little bit of a taste of being back into competing for an actual win last weekend. I'm hoping to see that he can cut and do something.
Yeah. No setbacks. He had the fastest club head speed of anybody in that tournament this past weekend. And again, no setbacks. So that's good to see that he can put that through that way and not have any back issues.
The hardest part of being a Tiger Woods fan is every time he swings a club, I'm watching to see what his face is. Is he wincing? Yep. Is he hurt again? It's one of those things. He's had so many surgeries now that you kind of feel like he's one weird swing or one weird little thing happening that he's hurt again. But while he's competing, I'm going to be watching, and I love watching him compete. I'm a big Tiger Woods fan, and I'll always will be until he hangs him up and says he's done.
Yep. So we'll talk about that next. Hopefully we can talk about another a good outing from him, and we'll talk about that more because I feel it deserves more attention too. I thought that was a really cool tournament, like you said. Just the fans showed up, people watching again. Finally, the golf thing is back there. It just goes to show just the following of just this iconic golf player, and just how much people want to actually see him succeed is pretty cool. So we'll talk about that too, man. So key takeaways from today is what? We're doing a tournament bracket contest. We're going to have that out to you tonight. So pay attention. You're going to go to see it on Instagram. It'll be on Facebook. We'll throw it on Twitter. We'll blast it out there, man. So we'll get this tournament going. And tournament starts Thursday?
Yep.
So you're going to have a day to fill it out. It'll be open for a day. And then after that, we're just going to have to shut down the bracket and just, we'll go from there. So get on it quickly. Fill it out. You can win some cool stuff. We have some, go check out brodadshop.com if you haven't checked it out to see all the awesome merch that we have. So, yeah. So, you got anything else, my friend?
I would say just keep watching your phones. The NFL free agency period is not over. It's just getting started. There'll be tons of more moves, and it's fun to watch.
Agreed. The NFL football frenzy is it's fun to watch. We try to be our own Adam Schefters, but we're not. But anyways, so again, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Check out for the NCAA tournament bracket contest. And, we'll see you guys next week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Join us next week for another epic episode of RDBT. Keep track of what we're doing on all social media at Real Dad Bro Talk. Till next time.
Anything I want, I speak into existence. That's how I'm living. That's how I'm winning. 5 bands a show now, and you know it's going up. Plays in the millions. Guess I'm finally blowing up. Oh, what the feeling.